Welcome everyone to Sharp Talk. My name is Tomas Alas, and here with us today is Doug Marcaida.
Good morning. Well, it could be evening, afternoon, somewhere. Wherever you are, greetings and salutations. How you doing, Tomas?
Amazing. It's good to see you. I'm super excited for this episode because we recently had the opportunity to train together. Normally, we're pretty far apart, but we had the opportunity to exchange hands. So we got a ton of footage coming people's way. But one of the things that people were commenting on are what are some two-man drills that we can do? So in this episode, we're talking about that.
All right, let's cut right into it.
What are some two-man drills? What's the point of two-man drills? Why do we do them?
Well, when you in the Filipino martial arts, when you see two guys training together, it's not sparring, it's not fighting, it's training. So the difference between Filipino martial arts is when you train with a weapon, you can't trade blows and train safely when there's impact and edge happening all around you. So two-man drills are choreographed sequences so that you can train safely. It's an agreement between the two practitioners that I will do these combative moves where I'm receiving, then I feed you, you receive it, then you refeed me, so that we get to train these combative movements in a safe manner. No one's going to get hurt in here. It also develops a lot of things. Sometimes as a receiver, you get to be on the receiving end of the drill with the sequences training these motions where you get them to be repetitive and you get them to move around and you see the motion in front of you. And you're also feeding where they get to be on the receiving end of that so that they develop these motions. The importance here is that it has been developed throughout the years so that people can train it safely. There is the idea that these are combative moves, but it's not sparring. It is not free flow per se. In the beginning, it is very much sequential so that both agree we're not going to get hurt. But that develops a lot of attributes.
I see a lot of people commenting on videos like, that looks like slap foo, and you guys don't know what you're doing. One of the comments that got me was, well, what happens if the other guy doesn't know the choreographed sequence and is attacking you? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So what are the attributes of these two-man drills?
Well, let's put it this way. If we go straight into sparring, human nature is going to get you into the defensive mode. I'm afraid to actually do precise movements because I'm defensive. What if I get hit right away? Because this is not sparring. You can think about it's developing certain moves so that I can truly express those moves, truly do those moves without fear of getting hit. You see, a lot of times if I'm flinching, I'm worried about getting hit, I'm not going to be confidently doing that. It's a beginner's way of learning something and to be able to have confidence in it. Take, for example, when you first learn to shoot a firearm, does the target shoot back? No, because otherwise you'd be hiding and everything. I can't shoot. Why? Because it's going to shoot back at me, right? It's a target. So the feeder receiver is going to be the target as I'm delivering my feed. Then he reacts with techniques. Then he feeds me back and I react with the technique. This exchange allows us to sort of develop these attributes or these things about it. Number one, I get to do it calmly. We say fight the way you train the way you fight, right? Well, if we know when you're calm and relaxed and have a nice demeanor about it, you're not going to panic. If you're calm, you're going to be faster and relaxed. Because we know it's sequential, we can exchange these techniques and these movements safely, but still be calm. We're not trying to hurt each other. You see, so you don't have the fear factor. The other thing it also develops is repetition. As you start to do this, you have this mindless repetition of the body that starts to develop all these neural pathways of the motion and the technique that you're doing, but sequentially still. That way I can do this without being afraid of getting hit. I'm developing over repetition over and over, and I'm not afraid, so I can train with confidence. That's one of the great things about two-man drills.
One of the things that I took away from us doing these drills like Huba is that it also, for me, I felt like I was training that subconscious response, because later on you would throw an attack and I would just kind of like do it out of repetition. So I think that it can unlock a lot of things and literally slow down your speed, giving you further reaction time to deliver or counter an attack. So I think that's actually really cool.
Well, these drills are done with an agreement between the two practitioners. We can slow it down. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So when I slow down the motion with my partner and I'm delivering precise motions, I'm making sure that we are precise and we can look at it, go, no, slow down because you're going too fast. I can't get this. You want to start. It is a beginner's training manual to be able to learn these pathways that you're doing over and over again in agreement with your partner. What that does is you get to be more precise. You see, if I'm hurried, if I am too anxious about what's going on in here, I will not be precise in delivering the techniques that you're actually learning. So the two-man drill is a starter way of doing things. Think of it this way. In a lot of martial arts, they have forms or katas or jurus, right? That's the same thing like in boxing as shadow boxing. When you're shadowing, you're just doing your techniques and in here. Then when you actually have a bag, that's where we meet resistance with that. And we do that with our pole training, our stick training that we're doing with stick bags, right? Then when you introduce a partner into it, they have focus mitts. So you're attacking targets. And the guy is basically a target, just giving you all these targets. Well, in two-man drills, the target, being the focus mitts, gets to also learn by delivering their strikes and receiving the strikes. It's a counter for counter play. It's like a dance. The beauty of this, once again, is when you're a beginner, you start to develop all these skills because you're relaxed. You're not worried about getting hurt. And it actually is an exchange of energy. A lot of this is because there's a lot of touching going on, a lot of movement, feeling the energy of your partner. It's that great way to exchange, and it's a great way to train with partner because you become friends. You get in tune. It's your I'm mirroring you. You know, it's one of those NLP things we talk about, right? We're mirroring. I move when you move when I move. I receive, you receive, you know, and all these things. So there's a lot of conversations happening in motion, but it's not a fight.
That seems like there are a ton of benefits of training, a ton of pros. What could be some of the cons? What are some of the downsides of two-man drills?
Okay, the downside of this is that you have an over reliance of using a partner, meaning that I get used to having preset moves all the time. That if somebody throws, whoa, that was not part of the drill, you stop, you freeze, because you've become a drill master, meaning I am here to do the drill rather than these drills were created so that you can fight with them. It's part of the process. This is step number one. Step number two of two-man drilling is basically as we get memorized these motions, we start to change the timing and everything. Then we put the X factor, meaning every so often I throw a jab that's not expected, but you just react because these two-man drills, each one has a purpose. Some just give you quadrants, right? Like the drill here teaches you to work on this quadrant, and the drill teaches you to do work on this quadrant and that quadrant and everything else. Once you've been able to get in and out and everything else, you can get out of the drill because it's all a matter of quadrants to me. That's what the drills create. Every drill, like Hubat is high line, Sombrada covers all the high and low. There's thrusting, there's slashing, all these angles. Once you're so good at the drill, you dissolve the drill. You don't do it in sequence anymore. But even that is a step-by-step process, meaning I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, X, or 1, 2, X, or 1, 4, 5, X, and everything. All the X is there, just react, but we're finding ourselves back into that. Why do you want to find yourself back into the drill? That's because I have a point of reference of using my technique before we spar. You see, to me, when it gets to the arts, you spar to use what you've learned. You don't spar to survive. That's why we just don't go into sparring. I'll go in survival mode. I just go haymakers there. I just want to live, right? Whereas I'm a martial artist. I'm learning the drills. I'm learning the forms. I'm learning how to do this. But when I spar, I actually use what I know. You spar to use what you know. You don't spar to win in the beginning. Now, once you put the X factor, they start increasing. It'll be 1, 2, 3, X, 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 1, 2, 3, 1 to X, X. They start adding all these things. So you get used to the unknowns, back to the known, back to the unknown. And eventually you start removing all the knowns and you start free flowing. That's what we were doing in some of our videos. Those were taken from known drills, but both of us have been doing long enough that we can react to angles, we can react to sectors. We're just putting all these things together because I already know these motions. I just see things coming. What makes it a drill is that we are still in the same timing. I receive, I feed. I receive, you feed, you know. So that's the agreement there. We're not still going in and out. Although our motions are no longer within sequence of choreography, the timing is still the same.
And that is what blew my mind, especially when maybe we can talk about in the future, the broken rhythm timing. Mind explosion. We'll talk about more on that in a future episode. But I had another question. What are three drills that people can investigate? I think we did Sumbrata, Hubad, and Sinawali for sure. Where can people get some more resources on that?
Well, if you find any Filipino martial artists, in their system, these are common terms. And ubad, which means to undress, tie, untie. You have sumbrada in sinawali. These are just common terms. Every system I've seen has their own version of it. But it's nice because then look at us. We train in different systems. So when we got together, we had that commonality. We understood the alphabet. We just didn't know the words, but we understood the letters. So, oh, there's a letter A, a letter C, a letter T in there. I see, oh, that's a CAT, oh, there. But it's spelled differently. I'm used to ACT. You are presenting a TAC. They're still letters. But because we have that motion, we understand the timing, we're still in tune with each other, but we're still not sparring. You see, a lot of people didn't understand when they see two-man drills, which is like patty cake, right? They don't understand. That's not sparring. Of course, it's not real. It's a training method. The sparring comes after. But the reason we have the two-man drills is because we have the form. We have these motions I have to ingrain in me so that when I spar, I'm actually using these techniques that I did over there. But it has to be developed within me. Otherwise, I'll just spar and go to survival mode, which works. But once again, this is about an art form. This is about a practice. And also, one of the beautiful things about two-man drills and the exchange of energy, you enjoy your time with your training partner, your friends, you're exchanging energies, you're having fun. That's the fun factor. Here's also one more thing that a lot of people don't understand why we have these drills. It's also the way to bring your temperament down. What does that mean? I could go into reality-based training where you're screaming, you're cursing because it's real. You shock people because it's real. You attack and you shank, 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 and you take to that very violent motion of the art. Then you go, okay, very good. This is the class. We're like this. We're all hyped up because of real. There's cursing and everything. That's what really happens in the street, right? And then you go home and hug your family. It doesn't work that way. You have to find a way to bring you down. It's within the drills when you're down. Okay, now, let's do the drills. Back to this. We'll do a parry, jab, cross thing. Okay, parry, jab, cross. And as we're doing, okay, parry, jab, cross. Because it's choreographed. It's a sequential motion. But I'm feeding you. Now I feed me. Then, oh, we made a mistake. Let's do it again. We're bringing our emotions down as we're still training. So that's one of the things that people don't realize. You have to control the beast. It's easy to be violent. Violence does not need skill. Control needs skill. These drills also teach you the discipline of doing it repetitively, but you're controlling your body. The sequential motions of this actually teaches you that my mind says we will do this, we will do this, we will do this, not react and be instinctive. That can be found in other parts of your training.
So, Doug, that's great if it is sequential, but what happens if it's not and you guys aren't on the same page?
Here's the idea. When you start off something, the sequential practice is there so that there's a controlled training. There's a smooth transition. I look at sequential training as structured chaos and fighting as unstructured chaos. So in the beginning, you want to be very structured in your motion, but you want to lead into unstructured ways. But because I have these structured motions, I know how to deal with quadrants and everything else. By the time they throw all these unknowns, I react accordingly because my training says this is how you react if it's from here, this is how you react from here, from here, from here. When you think of quadrants, it doesn't matter. If I just think of cutting across right here, whether it's a kick, a punch, an elbow, it's one quadrant. I could have only one answer for that. Doesn't matter what's coming at me. I have a different answer here. So all of a sudden, we know the drill here. Oh, I just reacted to that. From the drills, I didn't have to think about it. I just saw something coming from that quadrant, and I was already conditioned from the drills how to react on that quadrant.
Something I'm really excited about is going in depth into the tutorials of how to do these two-man drills. So make sure that you're subscribed to Sharp Talk so that way when those videos come out, you'll be the first to know.
All right, exactly. Right now, we just wanted to touch on that to show you that what you see is one part of a training method, and the methods can be numerous. But we showed you just from the videos right now that you're seeing, those are actually a free flow, but taken from sequential training. We actually were saying, okay, just come at me, and we were just doing it, right? But it was the timing that was sequential. The moves were all over the place, right? We're just going here. We don't want whatever's going to happen. We've done so many of it that actually we're very comfortable. The timing is what keeps us safe. The motions, we were just making it up, taken from what we already knew.
Truly exciting times, and I'm looking forward to more training with you and being able to share it with our Sharp Talk audience. So again, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our previous episodes to help get you up to that point of entering into two-man drills.
All right, guys, take it, keep training, and stay sharp.